Welcome to The Pod Has Been Cast, Book 1, Into the Void.
Oh, it's finally time! We did it!
Yes. We did it. We're here. We're all here. We're all alive. Everyone got their body parts still attached.
Yeah, for now.
It was a difficult takeoff, but we are officially launched into the void. Who wants to talk about some D&D?
Yeah, I do.
Me.
Let's do it.
Yes.
Well, let's start by introducing ourselves, and I will go first. I'm Jules. My pronouns are they, them, and I'm going to be your dungeon person. I was going to say master, but then I got scared. I don't know why. Dungeon master. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll say mistress. And then I was like, oh, no, it's definitely.
Then I panicked.
It's getting a little kinky.
I didn't stick the landing. That's me. I'm running this game. Who's with me?
My name is Robert Leahy. I use he, him pronouns, and I will be playing Zandar Radnax.
Nice. Hi, everyone. My name's Bianca Phipps. I use she or they pronouns, and I will be playing Heart.
And my name is Carlos Olmedo. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm going to be playing Rain.
Excellent. Well, thank you for joining me on this trip into the void, y'all.
Oh, I'm
Thanks
so
for
pumped.
having
I'm
us.
very excited to be here.
I'm excited to start playing. But how about first, we talk a little bit about what we're doing, why we're doing it. Carlos, I'm going to throw it over to you.
Yeah, just to start off, kind of introduce who we are. We are a few Chicago artists who just happen to love D&D and improv. And what we're doing here today is the main goal is to have fun. But something that's really important to us is we really want to, welcome voices that don't often get heard. To be completely blunt with you, I'm a little tired of telling stories of straight white cis dudes. And also, I'm going to say this up front. I'm kind of jumping the gun here, but I want to say one of my biggest pet peeves in all of art, film, television is when female characters always have to have a love interest. And it annoys me so much. Like sometimes there'll be a really strong female character and then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, but she's got to have a boyfriend. No. So Jules, I'm letting you know right now, if anyone crosses Rain's path, I'm going to say no. It's going to be hard no.
Let me grab this cartoonishly large
no.
sheet of paper and just
tear it up.
There it goes. No. The entire thing. That's fine. No love for Rain.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Don't need it. Don't need it.
There's in space, no one can fall in love.
Yeah, right. I mean, everyone else can. That's fine. But for me or for anyone else, I'm sticking to that. I'm just letting you know. I'm giving you a fair warning.
Challenge. I'm going to create a character so sexy.
Oh,
you won't even be able to resist. This is a challenge for me now.
I'm going to try.
Carlos, is this decision or this choice because you have a really low charisma score? Is that what it is? You're just trying to make an excuse for yourself?
Yeah, I'm saying that I'm doing it on purpose. I'm just preparing myself for failure.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
We'll get into this more when we talk about your character, but does Rain have game?
I don't think so. I don't remember. I have to look at my sheet, but but I don't think that she has high charisma. I mean, she spends most of her time alone, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But yeah, she's kind of a little asshole, so I don't think so. I think she rubs people off the wrong way.
That's all right. That's all right.
Well, before we get too deep in the weeds with the characters, let's get a little context on the world. What is the void that we're launching ourselves into here?
What is the void indeed? So the void is like space, but with magic. It's like magic space. And it also gets me out of having to do any like real science-y sort of stuff with this campaign. I just really love sci-fi. I'm inspired by things like the Mass Effect game series and like Farscape, which is a really sort of obscure Jim Henson sci-fi TV series from the early 90s. And Star Wars and Star Trek and all that good stuff. So I wanted to see what happens if you just like sort of force D&D and all that stuff to play nice with each other, kind of what comes out of it. And that's kind of where the Void came from. Basically, I took a lot of the typical Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition sort of characters like elves and dwarves and things like that. And I just stuck them on planets and I sort of rewrote this whole kind of lore about how these different races interact in the void and in these like ships that sail through the black nothingness in search of like treasure and undiscovered territories. So there's a lot to it. I wrote a lot of nonsense and I'm sure we'll post it all up somewhere if people want to get really deep into like what the void is and what all these planets are as we get going. But there's
it's basically like the future of Faerun, basically, like more or less, right?
The galaxy is even called the Faerun Galaxy. Just stealing that. And also, I love Dungeons and Dragons, but there's so much stuff written about it already. And it's like so hard for me to get my mind around. So I'm like, I'm just going to make my own stuff. So this was sort of a way for me to just blast everything into the future and kind of like, take my own license with it. Yeah.
I love that. That's
there's
so
going to be robots and there's going to be lasers and there's going to be feelings and good times. So get ready.
Not here.
Yeah,
no feelings.
Not for rain, but
just pain.
There is a character literally named Heart, so
and that was absolutely 100% on purpose.
Yeah, I don't want to get like too deep into the lore now because I think some of it will come up in gameplay, and also some of it was just so dense that if I was to sit here and try to read it to you, it would sound like gobbledygook. But just know that there's like sort of history here with like, what aliens are on top of the food chain and what aliens are on the bottom and where everyone sort of fits in. There's been interplanetary conflicts and massive AI computer hacking things. And maybe when we talk about your characters, I'll get more into like sort of where your species or race is like sort of from, and that can help to sort of fill in the gaps of this world.
I love that.
But I'm super excited. It was fun to like make weapons and armor out of just like nothing and invent bad guys and spaceship battle rules. I hope it all works.
Yeah.
We'll see.
That's the thing I love about this game is that it like when you buy your player's handbook or your expansion, whatever, they describe what everything is, right? Like a wizard is someone that reads a lot of books and, like gets their spells from texts and things like that. And like the ability to just be like, no, I'm going to do it a little different, right? Like to reflavor it. And especially as a DM, that must be so much fun to just be able to be like, okay, I know this typically is some sort of high fantasy thing, but for this world, it's a magic, I don't know, space pig or something like that, right?
And thank you for bringing up the magic space pig, because that's really why we're all here. There is a magic space pig, and it's going to come up in the first couple episodes. So make sure
I'm super excited. Am I allowed to ask, like, what was your favorite reflavoring, I guess, for like lack of a better term? Like, what is like one of the things that you, Jules, were like super excited about when you were like, yes, I want to make this in the void?
Sure. I really am such a huge fucking nerd is the thing. So like just thinking about, okay, in this galaxy, this is where the dwarves are from. So this is the kind of things that would be around in this galaxy if they were in space. And I'm like, okay, if the elves are over here and the dwarves are over here, and like building, like I built this whole. So, okay, here we go. Ready? So all these galaxies are connected by these ancient gates, like that predate anything else in the void. And you can use these gates to travel to different galaxies. And I sort of built this whole religion based off of that when it was discovered. And it's all based off of the Zodiac pantheon. And it's like the Zodiac pantheon of gods. And they all have like different sort of domains. So me just like at 12 o'clock at night, like with my headphones on, typing a bunch of nonsense history. That's the joy for me.
Yeah.
Hopefully it is for y'all too.
I love this because we can tell that you are really excited about this and that you love this. So we're just going to keep like egging you on and trying to get you to keep dropping little like bits of what's going to happen and what's going on with this, because like I'm super excited to learn about all this stuff. And I'm a huge nerd for like the lore and specifics of a way that like certain, you know, modules and things work. So like we're just going to keep trying to
and I just
sneak
love
in
talking.
little jabs at you.
I'm so excited.
It's all here. I want to know about more about y'all though. So what have you made to play in this playground I've created for us?
Sure. Yeah. So, like I said, I'll be playing as Xandar Randax. On paper, I'm a Githyanki Gloomstalker Ranger with the Charlatan background. Xandar uses he, him pronouns. He's a bit of a lone wolf, sort of outlaw type. And I'm really going to try to play him as chaotic neutral, but deep down, I think that he really does have like a heart of gold. So I've got a feeling that I might wind up leaning good as like he starts to come out of his shell a little bit and like interacting with the other characters and getting close to you guys. Xandar is he's tall and slender, sort of gaunt and haggard looking with rough greenish yellow skin and glossy black eyes. He wears a long coat over a skin-tight padded compression suit, leather boots, and a black wide-brim hat decorated with various gems and feathers and bits of precious metal. Xandar is arrogant, overconfident, and sarcastic. He's got a disdain for authority and the rules. He was military trained as a rifleman in the Gith Interplanar Defense Force before deserting his squadron for a life as a hired gun. He gets by doing mercenary work, smuggling, collecting bounties, and performing various scams, ruses, and cons. And he's also got a pretty serious gambling problem. Xandar is resourceful, deceptive, and martially adept, and he's made a name for himself as a formidable asset among corporate, criminal, and political entities across the void.
I love it.
So that's like sort of what I've got as far as what's prepared. Feel free to pry with any questions or anything like that, and let this lone wolf start to unravel.
So Robert and I
unspool you.
Yeah, I'm so pumped because when we were talking with Matthew Munoz, who's going to be doing some of our songs and themes and stuff like that, and I was talking to Robert about. I was like, so what's like the vibe of Xandar and like what's like the music you're kind of feeling? And Robert said Cowboy Bebop was kind of like the vibe, and I was like, yes,
literally what's constantly playing through Xandar's head is just the theme song from Cowboy Bebop.
You can listen to that all day long.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, so that's the vibe of Xandar is just the theme song from Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah,
nothing else, just the theme.
Yeah.
The Gith are a lot of fun too because they're like already sort of spacey in D&D lore, so it was fun.
Well, at like the first opportunity, hearing about like playing D&D in space, I was like, okay, well, of course I'm going to play the only canon alien D&D race. So I've never played Gith before, but I'm pretty excited. Githyanki in general are like pretty like hedonistic and like decadent and they like got like psionic abilities from being enslaved by like the Illithid or the Mind Flayers or whatever. So I've got like an invisible mage hand and like nice. I think that like Xandar is just sort of like fed up with his people and their sort of like very decadent lifestyle. So he's just like, plus being like a defector from the military and everything like that, like obviously Gith would totally like murder any Gith who tries to desert from the military right away. So a little bit of lone wolf by choice, a little bit of lone wolf by force. So.
That's excellent. But yeah, the Gith are a lot of fun. And like, I sort of adapted a lot of the existing lore about Gith and just sort of shoved it into this galaxy. But all the stuff with like the Mind Flayers, the Gith and the elves have a very interesting relationship that we'll dig into as well. The galaxy is a difficult place to be a Gith, and I think we're going to have lots of fun role-playing that comes out of that.
Cool. I'm excited.
Who's next?
I think it's me.
Yes.
So I wrote a paragraph because I got nervous.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna read it to you, and I'll probably riff a little bit because although I didn't train at the IO, I do know how to do a little bit of improv.
We're about to see masterwork.
I'm so sorry. I'm not.
Well,
I'm not
yes,
I don't know if I'm allowed to
continue.
name drop like that.
You know if you're allowed to name drop where you didn't train.
I don't know if I'm legally allowed to do improv because I didn't train there, but c'est la vie. I'm playing Heart, as I mentioned.
Here.
No one's going to come after me. I just knocked on wood. I'm playing Heart, as I mentioned in my little intro, but Heart's full title is HART Unit 8994. They are a void-forged fighter, initially sprung from a weapons and defense system. They are proficient with most weapons and armors and have great tactical instincts, but that's sort of where their expertise ends. They were assigned to protect a ship, but whatever caused the ship to become nothing more than scavenger bait damaged their memory crystal, rendering them with little knowledge of why they're actually there. I did mention this briefly to you, but I'll say it again. I do think, like, in my head, in the backstory of Heart, which doesn't exist for them, Heart was assigned to the ship to protect a specific person.
Yeah.
And the fact that they don't remember who, but just like that vague thought in the back of their mind of like, I've forgotten something that I'm supposed to do.
Oh, yeah, that's excellent. That's actually, that works perfectly. Yeah.
Yeah, that just like lives in the back of their brain, much like mine. Heart is a curious, helpful being with a great sense of duty. Being alone for a long time has led them to have more introspective thoughts, and they desire to know what their true function in the universe is beyond their initial programming. Like I mentioned, they harbor a deep guilt for failing to protect and remember the original inhabitants of their ship. And sometimes they feel like they're the only being of their kind in the vast darkness of the void. They stand around 6'7", which is a power fantasy for me because I'm only 5'2". And I very excited about that. So please, Jules, put things in there that only someone who's 6'7" could see.
You're going to reach so many things.
I can't wait. You have no idea. We're not going to get into this tangent, but boy, howdy, if I could just not have to climb onto my counters to reach the top shelf of my cabinets. They're made out of a sleek silver titanium. They appear vaguely humanoid, but I'd say that they look more like an Iron Man suit as opposed to like Janet from The Good Place. So like no one's going to mistake them for anything other than a void forged.
Excellent.
Would you look like Rosie from the Jetsons?
Here's the thing. I was born in 2008, so I don't know what the Jetsons are.
I don't know.
You don't know the Jetsons? The famous Jetsons? The foundation of the universe I've crafted for us?
Oh, God.
I get the reference, but I've never actually seen it. Was there a dog? There was a dog, right? There was like a little family and they had like...
No, the dog's name was not Elvis. The dog's name was not Elvis.
Yeah, the boy's name is Elroy.
This is going to start as a D&D podcast and it's slowly going to turn into one of those like, let's watch the Jetsons and reaction videos.
We're just going to turn into my Jetsons fanfic.
Oh my God.
What happens when Rosie and Jane stay home?
The Void.
Oh God, that's awful. I'm sorry. I quit the show.
No. Listen, this is a safe zone. Okay. We can talk about the fan fiction that we've written. All right. And you can post the fan fiction that you write about our podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Even the Flintstones crossover episode.
Are you on their Wikipedia page right now?
No, I'm just old enough to remember the Jetsons Flintstones crossover episode.
Yeah, we got a couple of Hanna-Barbarians here, all right?
Yeah.
Let's just say I've used my free trial of Boomerang.
Oh, once or twice. That's all I have. That's all that I have written on Heart. I'm really excited to play a fighter. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about this, but I'm excited to play a fighter because normally I play like support characters. I play a lot of bards and like warlocks. So like people who stand in the back and like shoot things from far away and they're like, you got this. But I'm really excited to have an AC of 17 and like
oh my goodness.
proficiency in
I'm
all
excited
kinds
for
of
you to
weapons.
have an AC of 17.
I know.
And me constantly checking in to see if I've hit you.
I
And
can't
just
wait to
learning.
be like, no.
You
God
do
forbid
nothing.
you get a shield.
Oh, watch out. I can carry one of those. I'm excited.
Wild.
Bianca, I have a question. So,
Yes.
the unit number
Mm-hmm.
8, what is it again?
8994.
Is that from something? Is it
80085.
like a Pixar thing where like it's your apartment number or something? You know what I mean? Like, does it have significance? Don't tell people your address, but like,
Don't tell people where you live. That's how the
Doxed
IO's
on
going to find me.
episode 0.
I'm getting hate
Yeah.
mail.
If you really want to know where I live, you can figure it out.
But don't try too hard.
I'm not okay. Don't dox me, please. I'm a nice little girl. Please don't hurt me. I wish that 8994 had like special significance to me. Truly, genuinely, I just really like the way that it sounds.
Yeah, that sounds very
and-
fluid.
Yeah, it
numbers.
just flows out the tongue. But also the idea that like if you woke up and all that you knew was that your name was HART 8994, like the thought that there are 8,993 others that might be like you, but you like don't know anything about them, that interests me. And I think is something that Heart grapples with a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
the
who
Void
am I?
Forged are like the newest creatures in the Void. They were sort of so what I did was I've sort of taken the Warforged class from regular 5e. And I never liked the word Warforged. I feel like it's very loaded. So I turned them into Void Forged. And they've sort of were created by this anomaly, like this massive AI intelligence sort of sprung all of these Void Forged into existence all over the galaxy. And they've all like sort of emerged with this idea of like being helpful and no explanation beyond that. And then immediately after their creator was deleted. So they've sort of had to find their own space in the void and you know, fight for their rights and things like that. But you have been by yourself forever on this poor freighter.
Yes. The second you told us about your idea for the Void Forge jewels, as an Aquarius with an Enneagram 2 and a lot of religious trauma, I was like, this is perfect for me.
As soon as I heard about the Void Forged backstory, I was like, oh, okay, cool. So iRobot. It's the movie iRobot.
Okay, wait a second.
and much like iRobot, I think like Zandar is like that sort of distrustful of robots, sort of Will Smith character. So,
Oh my God,
so
you are
we
Will
can play on
Smith.
that a little bit.
I
We
can't
need a
wait
new show.
because
This one's already happened. We already
scrap the whole thing.
We're
Just
doing the
kidding.
This happened
Flintstones.
episode 0.
We're doing the Flintstones. I'm really excited. If Cowboy Bebop is what is playing in Xandar's head, I think the like little ditty that plays at the beginning of every Good Place episode is like what's constantly on loop in Heart's head. They're like, it's just like so pleasant and so nice in there with like just like a deep undercurrent of guilt.
I love it. I love that this sweet package comes in such a lethal container. Fabulous. And then there was one.
Yeah. Wait, really quick before I go, I have one more question for you, Hart. What kind of fighter? I'm curious.
Oh, like my flavor?
Oh, yes, because
Yeah,
you're all
or
starting
like
at level 3. Yeah.
We're all at level 3. Did you guys pick your, or are you not
Yes,
there yet? Yeah,
I did.
Ooh, what'd you
I'm so
pick?
glad you
I want to
asked.
know.
I picked Champion because in my mind, Hart has been alone on the ship for they don't know how long. So to sort of like while away the hours, they've just been running through protective drills after protective drills, and like scavengers will show up on the ship and they'll be like, opportunity to practice. And then just like, bop, 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 bop. So I'm really excited to be able to roll a critical hit on a 19 or a 20.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. And
I'm
Robert,
excited about
what about you? What was
My subclass was Gloomstalker. I'm a Gloomstalker Ranger.
Oh
so
my God.
pretty much the most OP subclass.
Yeah, those are so cool.
And I'm using the new Ranger variant feats from Tasha's Cauldron of Everything too.
Nice.
So I really like
tell you
just the
about
way
those.
that I just really like the way that the Ranger has been buffed in recent releases. And so yeah, Gloomstalker Ranger. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Hell yeah. Well, I'll jump into my character. I'm going to be playing Rain Hallwinter, also known by her hacker name, which is Slime. Slyme. She's a human with 1 level of Artificer and 2 levels of War Mage Wizard. So she's basically like, I kind of wanted to do like a sort of, I've been watching a lot of Mandalorian. So like this sort of like techno paladin kind of thing always vibed with me. I was thinking about doing Battlesmith for a while, but that was so much about the little doggo, and you guys couldn't handle the French bulldog idea that I had. So I wanted to stick with Rain. So I went with War Mage Wizard. Rain uses she, her pronouns. I'm really excited to play her because she's a little badass. And on the surface, she comes off as basically like a chaotic evil character, but she's really probably more chaotic good. I had her height at 5'6", but Bianca, when you said you were 5'2", I changed her height to 5'2".
Thank you. Representation matters.
Yeah. So she's
in here.
Yeah. She stands at 5'2". She has royal blue eyes and light blue hair that reaches to her shoulders. And she has an undercut hidden underneath. You can see the undercut when she puts her hair into a ponytail, basically in the back. She wears yellow tinted visor style like sunglasses. An oversized purple engineer jacket she found on the freighter that she's working on, this giant abandoned freighter, which I guess we'll talk about a little bit later or in episode 1. But she found this jacket because it's really cold on this freighter. So she stole it. She also has a black hoodie underneath the jacket. So she's got like the hood over the jacket on the back. And she's also wearing black joggers. And my favorite part is she's wearing gold Jordan 1s.
Nice.
Which
sick.
They got to be in this universe. You got to make it.
Thank you. Yes. I once again ripping up paper.
Michael Jordan, savior of the void.
I'm named after him.
So sci-fi Jesus in this campaign. Strapped on her back is a plasma cutter, which is basically like a sci-fi sword that she uses to fight off the sort of like pirate scavengers that try to steal important parts from the ship she's working on. It's not necessarily like it's her ship, so she's not trying to be like, hey, get away from my ship. But some of the parts are important for her to complete her job, which is to hack into the online security of this freighter, which I'll get to in a minute. On her wrist, she's wearing kind of like a techno smart, like super smart watch. It kind of looks like the Ben 10 watch. You know, like hella clunky, and like she basically imports and exports all of her spells into the watch, so it acts as her spell book. So she'll like Ben 10, she'll like spin it and it'll like change the spells, and she'll smash it to cast it. I also am playing with the idea of because Robert knows I base a lot of my characters on Dragon Ball Z characters.
Of course, yes.
And yeah, exactly. And Rain is kind of a cyberpunk fusion of Bulma and Future Trunks, more on the Bulma side, I guess. Just from that family. And so I was playing with the idea of also like she using like capsules like they do in Dragon Ball Z, where they, you know what I mean? Like they put like the car in the capsule and they
isn't Bulma Trunks' mom?
Yes. Yeah. So
okay.
I would be like another sibling or something. I don't know.
You'd be part of the capsule family of products.
Yeah, exactly. I'm still thinking about that, but I think that'd be pretty cool. What else? So Rain is very loyal to her allies. Slime, however, wants her enemies to fear her. She's very proud of her work and she often gets pretty pissed if you haven't heard of any of her hacking feats. Rain has been hired by a privateer voyage scavenger by the name of Durgan Candon. While Durgan is definitely a shady figure, he's offering Rain a shit ton of money for her to hack into the system of this abandoned void freighter. She's surprised to find that this really old ship has a really complex system. So I think like when we meet Rain, she's super focused on this system. Because it fascinates her that she can't break into it that quickly. So she spends a lot of her time just like at the computer. She's really made herself home on the abandoned freighter. She enjoys listening to hip hop and smoking cigars while she's hacking. But in her free time, she's either training in the little makeshift gym that she has on the freighter, or she's making weapons and armor to help her fend off the pirate scavengers. And yeah, she's very different than I am, and I'm super excited to play her.
What a cool character. Your character is like the kind of teen I would see on the street and be like, please don't talk to me.
Yeah, she's
please don't hurt me.
I was thinking like giving her like a gold grill, or like something like that, like just a real like,
love this character. I love, the thing, we haven't even started playing it, but already the dynamics between these three characters, I think are going to be so interesting.
Yeah, you guys are very like far in different directions. I think it's going to be really, really cool.
I think that we nailed a pretty good, like without really talking to each other about what we were going to be, nailed like a pretty good balance for a party too.
Oh, yeah.
Like from a tank to like a magic user to like a ranged fighter. We got a little bit of access to healing too. So like not bad. Yeah. Pretty good party comp.
Especially rangers being like half casters. You know what I mean? So you have like full caster, half caster, and then tank. It's good. Right. It's good squad.
I'm excited.
Yeah. I just want to play. That's really all I want to do, honestly.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. Humans are sort of not new to the void, but they're definitely sort of considered like the little brother of the creatures of the void. They owe a lot to the elves for sort of helping them along in their technology. So it is a mix for humans. I think Rain is perfect for this, of like really old sort of tech mixed with like really new sort of tech. And I think that is reflected in their style as well. Yeah.
And something that speaks to that and is a part of Rain is that, she's human. You know what I mean? Like humans get a lot of flack for being very like basic, very simple people, simple culture and everything like that. So I think like she has this sort of like chip on her shoulder. Like she's like, yeah, okay, so maybe I can't use my brain mage hand or anything like that, but I could do some crazy shit if I work hard enough, which I think is like very human. You know what I mean? We see that in a lot of movies and stuff like that. Like humans are the ones that like push and push and push and keep fighting. So like I'm very excited to, and a little nervous to see like what paths like Rain takes. You know what I mean? Like what, like I imagine myself in a lot of situations, and I do this as a player just in general, but I imagine myself in a lot of situations where I'm trying to find like creative ways to use spells to get out of situations. I'm usually not an instigator, but I usually am someone that's like, oh, well, like how can I control the battlefield? Yeah. In a creative way. So I'm excited to see like what Rain comes up with in those specific scenarios based on her attitude, if that makes sense.
Nice. I'm curious. I'll ask both of you what like specifically for your character, what mechanic or like feature are you most excited about?
I gotta look up the word. Let me look it up. Just skip me for a second.
I'll go because my character sheet is open. I've been thinking about this.
Yeah, cool.
Flavorfully, like obviously the Void Forged are very helpful, and so the idea of of Hart being this like very tall, very imposing figure that's like, hello, welcome to the ship. Please come on in. Let me help you with the bolts and the nuts and the things that you need to take off. But they are just so strong. And I'm really excited. I have this like feature called Iron Fists, where if I hit someone unarmed, I get to like roll dice and then add my strength modifier. And I just can't wait to punch people. Because as I mentioned before, I've been playing a bunch of little nerds who can't hit anything to save their lives.
Just drop fat damage.
I'll put a couple of nerds in your path to be punched for sure.
Please. And I'm just really excited to play like an android type character.
Nice.
And they're a duelist. So it's a lot of fancy footwork.
Cool.
What about you?
Okay, so I think for me and Rain, it would probably be so the war mage is very defensive. So there's a lot of like arcane deflection and things like that, durable magic, deflecting shroud, right? Things like that. But there's one ability which is the total like fuck you move, and it's called Power Surge, and it's basically like absorbing, like storing magical energy and then like using it to hit someone with it. And it's just like that. Like I was saying before, I can't do that. I can't make my brain, do all these cool like abilities and stuff like that. But like I can take your fucking shit and I'm going to throw it right back at you. I think that's like a total Rain move.
Nice.
What about you, Robert?
All right, my like I mentioned before, this is actually the first time that I'm playing a character using the charlatan background. And as one of the variant feats for Ranger, there's a new feat called Deft Explorer, where at first level you get an ability called Canny, where you choose one of your skill proficiencies, and your proficiency is doubled for any ability check you make with that chosen skill.
Nice.
And so for Canny, I chose Deception. So all of not only am I proficient in Deception, but all of my proficiency bonuses for Deception are going to be doubled for every Deception check.
Oh my
so
goodness.
I'm just really excited to just like really lean into that charlatan background and just like lie my pants off and just like lie my way out of like every situation. And get into trouble, I'm sure, get caught lying all the time and need to fight my way out and things like that. So yeah, that's definitely the thing I'm most excited for.
That's so exciting.
So when we pick up and we play for real, y'all are going to be in the hard system, which is the system of the dwarves. There are a couple like interesting planets here, but you all will be concerned with this freighter we've been talking about a little bit. Rain, you have this job where you're going to be hacking into this freighter. Hart, I almost called you Bianca, and then my whole system of my brain just shut down momentarily. Hart, you are sort of a part of this freighter trying to figure out like what's going on with you. And Xandar, you have been hired also by Durgan to kind of run security for this mission. So all of you are going to collide for real very soon. I'm excited to see what happens.
So I have a quick question. Are we meeting for the first time in session 1, or have some of us like gotten to know each other?
I'd say like you probably have had enough time together to build up a bit of a rapport. Especially Xandar and Rain, since you would have had the void flight from your starting location to here together. And then Xandar, you've been running on sort of a smaller spacecraft that's attached to the second dibs, which is the spacecraft that Durgan owns. You've been running supplies to and from the freighter for Rain and Durgan. So you two have like run into each other a little bit, and I'll let you guys kind of decide what that relationship is. And then Rain, you know that Hart is on this freighter. I think the two of you have crossed paths before. Whether or not you have shared that with Xandar or anyone else back on the second dibs is going to be up to you.
Yeah, I think it kind of reminds me of Iron Giant, like just like this This like, no, there's nothing here. No, like, yeah, that was nothing.
The reference level of this podcast is just going to be insane.
Very high.
Too high.
So good.
Yeah, what you know about Durgan is a scoundrel, kind of a scumbag, very seedy, likes to make a quick buck as easy as possible, and definitely losing his patience the longer this job goes on. So it is smart that you maybe keep Hart a little bit to yourself, because Durgan would definitely be interested to know. But we'll play with that more when we play.
Sounds good. I'm excited.
I can't wait.
Love it.
Soon, very soon. So that's it. Those are the characters. That's what we're doing. That's where we are. Bianca, where can the people find us?
Oh, the people can find us online. You can find us on Instagram and Reddit at thepodhasbeencast. And you can find us on Twitter at thepodhbcast.
Excellent.
Perfectly
done.
Let that fan art start pouring in.
Yes, let the fan art start pouring
please.
in. Let the fan fiction start pouring in. Also, if you check out all of our socials, you'll get to see a really cool trailer that Carlos put together.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
and you get to hear my
teaser.
big dumb voice.
Your beautiful voice.
Sexy space voice.
Sexy space.
And Carlos, do we have anything else to plug?
Yes, we do. We want to say a special thank you to Matthew Munoz, who will be composing a lot of the music for our podcast, including our themes, which you should be able to hear relatively soon. You can find more of his music on MatthewMunozMusic.com. He does a lot of like theater in Chicago. That's how I met him, actually. And super talented, really, really, really cool stuff on his site. Yeah, check it out. He's got some really great stuff up there.
And Robert, everybody else got to say something. So this is a new segment called Robert's Corner. Robert, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I always have something to add. Just, and the quicker that y'all start really just getting into everything that we're doing and becoming fans and throwing up fan art and stuff like that, the more we're going to start engaging with our fan base. And I'm just really excited for that relationship to just start growing. And for us to just really start just beating you with content and just drowning you with all sorts
Let
of
us
stuff
murder
that
you
you
with
can
content.
dive into and that you can really dissect and love and criticize and we're just gonna really love interacting with that fan base. So I think pretty soon I'll go ahead and throw my character sheet at least up on maybe the Reddit or something like that, or the Twitter or whatever. And we can at least get an idea of sort of what we're going to be able to do in some of the more specifics and mechanics. Because that's really like the thing that I'm in love with D&D is just like all the mechanics and not to mention that, but just like the collective storytelling and like, like Carlos was saying before, like every little decision, every single thing that happens has like an equal amount of influence on the product. So just like, and even the fans, you know what I mean? Like, so let's just go ahead, get involved, eat it up. And hopefully we will satiate your appetites.
Well, I love Robert's Corner. That's my favorite part of the show.
Too.
I'm going to put like some sexy Cowboy Bebop music underneath Robert's Corner.
Yeah.
But like slow, not like the fast stuff, like do.
And if somebody could
like
explain to
outro.
me what happens in Cowboy Bebop or like give me an idea of what that show is like, or I really only know the theme song. So
it's
like,
good.
Oh no.
I can't believe that this is the one reference I know and you don't.
Hey,
How did this happen?
if anybody wants to at me about the Jetsons Flintstones crossover or explain to me what happens in Cowboy Bebop, I'm available to start interacting with fans as soon as this episode drops.
All right, Jane, what do you say we stop this crazy thing?
We should have stopped it.
Next time we start our adventure into the void. So strap in, Voidfarers, and prepare or take off. That's it. That's all I got. Bye.
That's spooky.
That was perfect.